So this is what we have yesterday. It's already functional, has its own login, send a request to the server. So I can log in as a msymbol 123 to get my profile. We're able to go to the websites list, and it has I can update my profile. I can log out. Also, these things work. And today we are just going to we're not going to create a new component. We're just going to separate the current component into the smaller ones, right? Let me see. So we are having the user components and the website components, right? Let's see. So, right. So we are going to firstly take a look of the things like if we log in as msymbol, we're looking for the duplicate stuff. We're looking for duplicate stuff. So the first thing which is duplicate is our footer, right? You see, we have the footer in the profile page, and we also have the footer in the website list page. Right now we'll have them separated. They're using the separate code, but actually we can just using the same code for both of them. So if I want to make some changes to the footer, I just need to change it once. It's going to apply to all the footers I have here, all right? So we are going to create a new folder in our components. Right. So in the components, let's create a new folder. I'd like to call it layout. I'll put some layout small components inside it. For example, I'm going to create a new file called footer.js. Right. So this footer.js is very simple. It doesn't have any state, doesn't have any lifecycle method. All it has is just a HTML code and a link. Right. It has a bar with a blue color and one button here. That's it. It's very simple. Since there's no state and there is no lifecycle method, we can use the stateless component.
What is it? Stateless?
Yeah, stateless component. So which is we can create this, the function the component as a function. So let's do the RFC here. If you hit tab, see this is how a stateless component looks like. It's just a function, has a name equals footer, and then returns a div, or returns anything you want. So what we're going to return here is a thing going to render out in the page, and I'd like to return a footer here. So I can grab the footer's code in my profile. Footer is on the bottom here. This navbar is the footer. Let's just copy this navbar. Let's just remove it, cut it, and I'm gonna put that into my footer. Put it here, right? So if I go back to my profile right now, there's no footer anymore. I just removed it. I also want to remove it from the website list. Let's go to the website list.
Well, isn't it true that the widget always has a div in it?
What do you mean by div in? There's no div. I just have a nav here. Oh, you mean the second div here?
Yeah.
This is if you remember that, this is helps us getting the full width of that line. So I can float the icon to the right. That is this div we use the class full width. The full width, if you check in our CSS, it's just setting up the width equal to 100%. So I can use the float to right to move the user icon to the right corner,
So that's
instead of on the left.
That's why you didn't use the div that comes with the IFC ones, with the stateless component functions.
It has nothing to do with stateless or state. It's just the HTML and CSS.
Yeah, that's what I mean. When you do the RFC ones, there was a div on the inside.
Oh, it's just some default setting there. I mean, you can just delete that if you don't want it. It's always going to be showing an empty div there, but you can remove it.
Okay.
Yeah. See, like this is how it was look like. I just removed it and put my own code here. It doesn't really matter. You can put any tags here, but just make sure it's all under just one parent, right? It only allows one parent component, a component tag. Sorry, one parent tag, and you can have multiple children inside the parent tag. Website list. Let's also remove the footer here, right? Now there is no footer in my page. There's no footer in my website. There's no footer in my profile, right? So I can choose to where to add that footer in my components. So for example, if I want the footer in my profile page, I just need to import the footer component I just created, right? Import footer from. Right now I'm in the user folder, so I'm going to go to / jump out, and we can go into the layout folder. Oops, layout folder, and looking for the footer. So I just imported the footer here, and I can just I can just directly using the footer tag here. So after my main body, I want to add a footer, so I just say footer. This is when I create that component, it also creates a new tag for me. I can just directly use it to construct my profile file component. Right now, the footer is a child component of my profile. Right. So I'm getting an error here. Says link is not defined. I think it's because in my footer I use the link, but it's not defined here. Let's try to import link. Import link from React router DOM. Right. So if I take a look again to my application, you see the footer is come back. And there's also adding the footer for the website. Let's go to the website list. Import the footer. Actually, I can just directly add it to here. I think it's going to ask me, do you want to import it? Footer. Actually, not. Alright, we'll just add it here right now. Let's also import it by ourselves. So we're going to import footer from / go to the layout folder, and looking for the footer file. Right. So right now you see the footer is come back, and I don't have to write the footer more than one time. I just need to write it once. I can use it everywhere I need. It's become a reusable layout component. It's a reusable, like a common component. I can use it anywhere, right? All right, that is a footer. And let's say let's looking for other common units we have here. Let's say navbar. Actually, I don't really want to make the navbar as a component because it looks much different on each page. Did I do it before? You actually did it. Right, let's do that. Let's also make the. Actually, let's do something first. Let's making the input box as a single component, so I don't have to write it like 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, and also like there's a lot in the login page, some in the register. Just write it once, apply it to anywhere, because most of them have the just similar layout. All right. Let's create an input JS, and use it anywhere I need to create that input. Right. So let's create a new file. We call it input. Let's call it input group because it comes with a label. So we just create an input group JS. And this time I also want to create as a stateless component because there's no any data inside it. Just stateless. And since those input box they have the different label, they have a different placeholder, right? They have different placeholder and a different label, and so I may want to pass in those data when I call that component. So I can put the placeholder as a property, and then I can have the label as a property. So when I require this when I use those input group components, I can pass in the properties to it to show you the different layout. Right. So what I mean here is like when I call this input group, what I want here, firstly I need a div, right? Let's take a look of the logging component. How does the input looks like? It looks like that, right? Let's just copy this one. This is our input group. Yeah. So let's put it in here into group. So it's coming with a class name form group, class name, form control required, name equal to username, type equal to text, placeholder equal to username, and value equals to username, unchanged equal to this unchanged, right? So let's ending. It's not, because the name is not always gonna equal to username. If it's a common input group, it's gonna change. Depends on where I use it. Same thing for the type. Sometimes it may be a number. Sometimes it may be a date. And also for the placeholder, it's gonna change. So we're going to put them as variables. So those things we can decide what to put it in here when I use it. So inside the parameter, I will be able to see which are those things. Some of those things are going to be passing as in properties, like the name. Maybe there's a label, and the type of it can change, and the placeholder gonna change, and also this, like unchanged equals to this the unchanged. There is no unchanged functions in here, so the unchanged may be coming from the outer parent component, so I'm gonna also have unchanged here. All right. Also the value of it, it's also from the parent. So right now I can have the name instead of equal to username. It's just going to equal to the name of the property, right? The name from the property. The type is also equal to the type of the property. Placeholder equals to the placeholder. Value is just equal to the value. Unchanged is just equal to the unchanged. Right? So right now, if I want to create
How about the label?
oh yeah, sure, label. It's adding a label here. Let's create a label. How do I create a label? I kind of forget. Right? Oh yeah, label it has a for, right? But because for is something JavaScript for is for using for the for loop. So if you want to use an HTML, if you want to using the for attribute for the label, you're gonna say HTML for. If you use for here, it's going to give you a warning, tell you like if you want to using for, please just write HTML for. Right? This is just the yeah, it's JSX syntax. So if you want to using the HTML4, it's going to use the HTML4 here. This is for the name, right? This for the input with this name. Actually, for the label, it should be for this. Oops, what I'm doing. This is for the. Actually, this is for the just for the name, and the label should be put here. What the label is going to be displayed in here. All right. I think that's it. Let's try to use it. Let's try to use this input group. For example, if I want to use that in the logging.js, I'm going to import it first. And import is actually very interesting when you're doing that again. It feel like you are break the whole components into smaller pieces. Input group from /layout input group. Right. So by doing that, we have the input group tag we can use. Let's using that to replace what we have here for the username. Right. This is the username. Let's replace that. Let's first comment out for a second. And let's create a duplicate stuff with the input group. Input group. It's coming with a lot of properties, right? It needs a name, right? It needs a name, so we're gonna say name is equal to username. Type is equal to text. Placeholder is equals to username. Venue is equal to this state username, and unchange is equal to this star unchange.
Why would you put value just like username instead of
Take a look here. Username is I already did the destructure in here.
Oh yeah.
Once user username, it's this state.
Username
Yep.
is just full username.
Exactly. So you see, right now my username looks like that. You see that? It's still nothing changed. And also I can add a label to it if I want. So let's add a label to it. Label. The order doesn't matter. You can just change the order to anything, but it's just gonna have it here. For label, I want to say this is for the username. Oops, username. And then it's going to display a label here. See the label is also showing here. But actually, in this case, I maybe don't want the label. Just don't put the label. So the label here is going to be this label is going to be empty. So it's not going to show in here that. All right. It's very convenient, and I can use it again. So this is for the username. This is comments, and I also have one for the password. Let's just delete this one. I don't have to write it again. I just use it in the input group, and with name equal to password. Let's see what else do I need. I need a type equal to text placeholder, which is this is a password. Venue is equal to this the state of the password. Just password. Unchange is just equal to this unchange function. Right. Oh, I forget to close the tag. Here we go. This is another input group. You see, it's not changing at all. Just I have some empty space here because of the empty label. You may want to remove it. For example, I can in my input group here, I can see I only want to display this label with label existing. So that's using a curly brace, right? We only want to show this one label is not empty. Right now it's not gonna show it if the label is empty. But if we have something in the label, it's still gonna show it. So let's try it. So if I just put the label, this is actually this is just string password. Still gonna show the label. But when it's empty, it's just not gonna show it because sometimes I don't need it, right? This is how you make a common input group, so you can use it again and again. To improve it, we actually can also have some default properties. For example, I actually prefer to put this export default down here. Export default the input group. So I create the function first and then export it. And before I export it, I can say input group dot default props. Default props. So in here, I can give some default properties. For example, if I didn't put a property for the type, I want the default property for type is always text. So if I didn't put any properties for type, it's going to give me a default one, which is a text. Like if I for example, right now, do I have any error here? No. So if I don't have this coming out, right? It's coming out. It's still working correctly. And if I remove the type I defined for the username and the password, it won't have type checking. Let's add in a default type for it in the input group. Let's say I want the type to be number, right? So you're gonna see they're gonna come with some default type. So it's gonna become a number. I can only input numbers here. I cannot change anything else. So like it's just but if because that is a default one. If I give a type here in my login, I say I want this one the type to be string to be text, and it won't use a default value because there is a value there I can use. I'm not going to use in the default one. right? So that's why we sometimes really want to have a default one as text, so I don't have to write the type text again, because it's a really common input type. Most of the type is going to be text. In some special cases, when for the widget size, if it's a heading widget, its size, it's going to be a number. Or some other special cases when we're using other type. In most cases, it's going to be text. So to save our time, I don't have to write it again and again, so the type just equal to text. Alright? And also, we can also give some, like remember we said, we can do some type checking in the React, right? We are not allowed to do type checking with JavaScript. Naturally, like with Angular, we can use a TypeScript. Allows us checking, this is a string, this is a number, this is a user. And in React, there is a libraries we can use to help us do the type checking. It's called a property type. So if you want to do some type checking, you can import. This is not required. But if you want to make it more professional, to checking the types, to make your code more safe, you can import the prop types from the prop types. Prop types, yeah. So yeah, still like before you export it, you can see input group the prop types, and now you can tell it like, okay, so which one is required, which one is what type. So for example, label. So we're gonna say it's a prop types the string, right? And now it knows label is a string type. Same thing we can do it for the other ones. We have the name. Prop types, it is a string. So it's limited, like you can only have the string name. So for example, if I change the name equals to a prototype number, and it's going to give me an error right now. So it's saying warning, fail the proper types, invalid proper name of type string, supplied to be input group except the number. So I give the name as a string, so it's giving me a warning. You cannot use a string because you limited it as a number. You can only use a number here. So just give you some hint, like when you're doing something. Also, it's going to tell your teams, tell your teammates, your partners, like okay, this is supposed to be a number. You may make some mistakes here. It's online. It's at login JS line 71. If you go checking it, so this is my first. This is my input group. The name is a string here, and the input group required it to be a number. All right. So this is how you do the type checking, and you can also see DAR is required. So that means if you want to use input group, the name is required. You cannot use input group without the name. Alright? We have other things we can use. We have the type, placeholder, unchanged, and value. So let's say type. Actually, I don't want to make it. Actually, it doesn't have to be required because I already have a default value for it. So just have a type prop types dot string. That's enough. I don't need to make it required. Placeholder. Also, placeholder is not something like really important. I don't want to make it required. Maybe sometimes I don't want a placeholder, so just make it a string. And unchanged. Unchanged. This is a function, right? So it's going to be prop types, the func. And I have menu. Just a prop types the string, right? It has to have a name. Other things it's not required at this moment. Maybe it's required in the future. So right now it still works. Doesn't have any error unless I break the rules I made it by myself here. Right? So checking the types and also give some default value. Right? Let's apply that input group in other place. I just change the username and password here. I can also use it in a register. JS. Let's import it. Import input group from / layout input group, right? Actually, this footer should be capitalized. Should be capital F. Actually, I made a mistake here. It should be capitalized F. I'm gonna change that later. So in the register, it's looking for the input groups I have here. I have one here. This is for the username. I can actually copy the username I have in the login, just directly to here. Alright, this is the input group for the login. And I have the one for the password too. This is for the password. Right? And I also want the one for the verified password. Oh, did I change it wrong? I think I just changed the password. Did I? Oh, this is the verified password. This password should be here. This form group says this is password. This is for the verified password. I have to make it again. So it should be name should be verified password. Placeholder verified password. Menu is verified password from state, right? So if I check it right now, it still works. There's nothing changed. And you can do the same thing for the profile. Same thing for all the input books you have in your application. And by doing that, if you want to make any changes, you want to change the style of it to something else, it's going to apply to all the input group you have here. You don't have to change it. Like if your boss asks you to, okay, right now, I feel like the input books, those input fields in our application, it looks too long. I want to make it shorter. So maybe you can just go to your application, go to input group, just doing one thing: remove the class name from group, and all of them going to change. Not from group, sorry, form control. You're going to remove the class name from control here, and all of them going to change at the same time. You don't have to change it one by one in your application again and again. Make it reusable. Save your times in the future, right? You're gonna like yourself when you need to change it. All right. So that's for the input box. I didn't change for the profile, just being lazy, but you can change it. There's many other examples. Just being lazy. I actually have it here. Let me show you. Don't want to waste your time. So you see, I have a lot of layout here. Let's make it a little bit bigger. Right. So I have one for the footer to change all the footers. It's very easy. I also have one for the heading. It's for the this is showing the for the widget heading widget. It's showing depends on different size. When size equal to 1, we'll show that. Size equal to 2, we'll show that. Size equal to 6, show that. And I'm just using in my widget heading. Sorry, in the widget list. I'm just writing when tab equal to heading. I'm just showing the heading tag. All right, and we'll also have the one for the list. This is just the way you display the whole list. Like we have the website list, we have the widget list, we have the page list. So I can just you're always using the same list component to display all of them. For example, in the website list here, I just have a nav, single nav. This is one of my components to display the nav bar. This is my nav component. I separated it. And where's my widget list? And for the nav for the list for the list, this is just one line. List items equal to websites. Type is equal to website. That's it. And it is going to be we're passing the whole items as websites. I'm passing the websites for the type. So if you're checking the list here, it actually takes items and takes the type. And the items is used here when I do the map, items, the map, and to the item. The type equal to website. And it's actually showing item. It also have a single item component to display the single item, each item in the list. For each item in the list, I want to pass in the key, pass in the item, pass in the next page when I click the button, and also the edit page when I try to edit it. It's all configured in here. It's gonna have a link, another link, which is just this item, right? So I actually separate everything into a small component. and I have the one for the YouTube, I have the one for the image, and I have one for the heading. So in the widget list, I can just saying, okay, here I have a container. It has a widget button group. With the button group, basically just a button on the right corner. You just take a look of that. Let's actually run this one. Let's just run this quickly. ng actually not ng npm start. Also, I need to do the node server. By the way, the code you can find in my GitHub. You just go to the GitHub and search my name, Shiyu3169. You'll be able to find my GitHub here. And in my repository, this is called Webmaker React 2. This one, right? Just open that. All the code can be found here. So in my, oops. So in here, you'll be able to see my source code. Everything is inside here. Like my components, user page, website, widgets, and layout. Everything is inside here. Let's see how it looks like. It's still running. I need to have the MongoD. MongoD. This is a node server. Right. Just waiting for it to finish. Right, so this is my application. So if I log in as a msymbol123 and go to the website and create some website, I believe I can. Actually, I cannot. It's not finished yet. Let's directly change the URL path to the widget list. I'm not sure if I have some there. Actually, I don't think it's finished yet. My route for the widget list. This one. Let's copy that. This is my widget list. You see, for the heading, and for the image, and for the videos, and also the button group. So this two buttons is the button group component. I have it in here. Widget button group. So basically just a div has two buttons. First button, second button. That's it. And I can use it again and again to show you for all the widgets I have here. And for the heading, it's just this heading here. Heading is also a single component. An image is a single component, and the YouTube is a single component. All right. So it's nothing wrong to have one component for the whole page. But if you can separate that into a really tiny component, it's definitely going to improve the performance. Also, it will make it easier for you to maintain in the future if you want to make any changes. All right. You can just take a look at my code. You just don't want to waste your time to do all these things again, because you're gonna practice first as to do the whole thing as one component at first. And once you finish that first step to make the whole page as one component, then we're gonna talk about help you to in your team to help you to break it down into multiple components. All right. I think we're gonna stop here and left the rest of time for you to continue working with your team, discuss the topics of your application, and upload the video to the YouTube.